seated as we take our opening psalm, or we transition to the next part of our service. We take our opening psalm from Psalm 90. Old Testament in the book of Psalms, chapter 90, and it reads as follows. Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. For the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn people back to dust, saying, return to dust, you mortals. 1,000 years in your sight is like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. Sweep people away in the sleep of death. They are like new grass of the morning. In the morning it springs up new, but in the evening it is dry and withered. We are consumed by your anger, and terrified by your indignation. We have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your presence. All our days pass away under your wrath. Finish our years with a moan. Our days may come to 70 years or 80 if our strength endures. Yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow, or they quickly pass and we fly away. If we knew the power of your anger, your wrath is as great as the fear that is your due. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Relent, O Lord, how long will it be? Have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, for as many years as we have felt trouble. These be shown to your servants and your splendor to their children. The favor of our Lord our God rest upon us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Friends, here ends our first reading for this morning, and this is the word of the Lord. And then hand over to our program director, and take us from here.
Thank you, Reverend Tabiso, Reverend Tabiso from the Bryanston Methodist Church. Before we start, shall we all stand as we sing the national anthem?
On Zion.
actually not sure whether to clap because when we sing our national anthem, we recognize the struggles that we've been through and what brought us here and what unites us. And that was Mrs. Pinda Matlala, who is an international multi-award winning musician. Baruti, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen, we gather today to honor the life of Olorato Mongale, a young woman whose brilliance shone brightly in an individual. She was a beacon of energy, beauty, and promise. Her light was extinguished far way too soon. And we stand here, we gather here today, united in our grief over the brutal loss of someone so vibrant and so dear to all of us. As we remember Olorato today, let us also acknowledge the strength that she displayed. Even in her final moments, in her honor, we must come together to heal the wounds left in her wake and support the family through this unimaginable pain. Today is not just a mourning day, it is a celebration of a life well lived. As you will witness with each and every speaker testifying here today, Olorato ran her race. Olorato lived her best life, as young people would say. Her life was filled with dreams, laughter, and love. Let us carry her spirit forward as we share our memories and reflect on the impact that she's made in each and every one of us. Yes, there'll be moments where we shed tears, but most of the time, I assure you, we will be laughing and smiling because Olorato left us those memories. And when you feel like it's time, it's a laughter moment, it sounds like a joke, please, it is a joke, you are permitted to laugh. Because Olorato was about laughter, she was about living, she was about life. We are not here mourning as Batubasa following. We know, and this is testament in the scripture, Romans 14, verse 8, that for if we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord. So whether we live or die, we are of the Lord. So please, let's remember that. She's gone home. She's gone home to her daddy. And right now, as we all stand and hum, I would like to call upon Dr. Olorato as Dr. Olorato Mongale, who is Mama Holu, and I'd like to just urge you that as you took your seats, there were QR codes. That's where you find today's program. So if you can just use your phones. If it doesn't have a camera, you look at your neighbor's phone, please, because some of the phones didn't get it. So shall we all stand as we hum Dr. Dali at Olorato, her journey. And as Dr. Dali approaches, there is a car. Your lights are on, FG36TSGP. FG36TSGP. Your lights are on.
Olorato Mongale was a radiant light whose presence left an imprint on every life she touched. She was born at Universitas Hospital in Bloemfontein on the 14th of December 1924 and raised in a home filled with deep love and generational strength. She was cherished from birth and held a special place in the hearts of her family. Her educational journey began at Christian Brothers College from 2000 to 2003, where she completed grades 1 to 3. She then joined Eunice Girls School from 2004 to 2012, where she blossomed as a young woman of excellence. A dynamic student, she was active in the school choir, the debate team, and hockey field, all while excelling academically. In her matric year, she earned 4 distinctions: mathematics, English, Afrikaans, and drama. She took on the challenge of an 8th subject, applied mathematics, which is a reflection of her sharp intellect and driven spirit. In 2013, she enrolled at Rhodes University, where she pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism honors. In 2015, the academic journey took her abroad to the United States as part of an international exchange program at Furman University in South Carolina. There she expanded her worldview, connected with diverse communities, and brought her vibrant South African spirit to new shores, an experience that deeply enriched her life. In 2025, she enrolled at Wits for Masters in Information Communications Technology and Policy Regulations. She was passionate about storytelling and communication. She built an impressive and meaningful career. Olorato began as a multimedia journalist at TISO Black Star Group in July 2017, shortly after graduating. In August the following year, she joined the IIE Rosebank College as a lecturer, sharing her knowledge and nurturing young minds until April 2018. From 2018 to 2020, Olorato served as a communications and engagement specialist in the English program in South Korea, where she not only taught, but also acted as a cultural ambassador, strengthening international bonds through language and dialogue. Upon returning home, she worked as a communications officer at the Department of Economic, Small Business Development, Tourism, and Environmental Affairs. That was from 2020 to 2022, where she continued to uplift and inform communities in the Free State. A professional journey culminated in her role as a digital marketing and social media associate at the global management consulting firm Oliver Wyman from 2022 to 2024, where her creativity and strategic mind left a lasting impression. She carried herself with grace, intelligence, and a quiet boldness that made her unforgettable to all who knew her. Beyond her academic accolades, Olorato was defined by her warmth, her infectious laughter, a deep sense of loyalty, and her unwavering authenticity. She was grounded and graceful and fiercely loved. She was an avid traveler with a deep love for discovering new places. Her journey were a testament to her adventurous spirit and boundless curiosity. Though our hearts ache, we are forever grateful for the gift of Olorato's life, a daughter, sister, granddaughter, and a friend whose legacy will continue to shine through every life she touched. Rawala ka kagisho morolong, Mudibu.
Mina thoko nkare ka shapa ubani uzofakaza ngawe. After that long journey of a 30-year-old, it's a reflection moment. What life have I lived? The truth, so ubani uzofakaza ngawe. Ayitse jupina ubani uzofakaza ngawe. Le oyiwane fela. Okay. Likugulishe please Kiakoba. Njalo. Hona mo. Hausa nang. Iyatswa. Maushi Calvary, bano ufakaza ngawe. That's what the song says. How swenkela morena Jesu. Re tla reng ka wena. Obani how philela modimo, you don't die. We are high. It's a pity, we had dreams for ngwana rona. And now that the Lord has called her back home, it's a reflection time for us to look at ourselves. Ke ntseng ka bophelo ba ka. When I die, when I leave this earth, batho ba tlo mamela, ba iputsisa hore ba ka reng ka wena. Obituary e tlo retsa hore ba tle mantswe, re bue maka ka wena, kapa ho tlo ba easy for us to write your story, because you were an open book. So ka motsotso o, ke kopa hore le ka dula fatshe. And I've been asked to ask those who are right at the back to please come to the front. There's many seats still available. It's full at the back. If you can just kindly come to the front, you will be ushered. And we also request that you try and avoid the cameras. Use the sides if you possibly can, because most of this is broadcasted live, and would love everybody else who's joined us to be able to view. And we've also shared a live link in order for those who could not join us to be part of celebrating Olorato's life. I would like us now to pay attention to the screens as we have a message from former Eunice headmaster from 1987 to 2014, Mr. Paul Kashal. Okay. We move right along. Kopalin chuse ka pina hle. Eli itse bang he. Thank you. We are here as a bandage. Re tlo tshedisa this family. We are not here to be entertained. And how na le worry of the person sitting next to you, ba tlo judge. It's fine, ba ka se o bolelle anyway, ba tlo seba. So let them judge. More, re tlo etsa sure hore ba ha Mongale, when they leave this place, e be ile hore ba futhumetse ka hare, ba tseba hore Modimo teng le ka o motsotso. Because when we show sorrow with them, it will be difficult for these wounds to be sealed. So as we now enter the program of speeches, I am going to humbly request, because by 11, I must have handed over the program to Gereke. So ke tlo kopa hore how le on the program as a speaker, we are only given 3 minutes. The reason there's a memorial, that's where we re-lolololo re bue. More is just a reflection on this life that was well lived. And right now, I would like to first start by acknowledging our dignitaries. In our midst, we have the Minister of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, Mesindisiwe Chikunga. In our midst, we have the Premier of the Free State Province, Me Makwin Litsoha Mataya. We have Deputy Minister of Police, Me Poli Bushielo. We have Executive Mayor of Mangaung, Ntate Gregory Ntadisi. We have the High Commissioner of South Africa in the Republic of Singapore, Me Charlotte Lobe. We have this, okay. The spouse of the South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Me Lebohang Morwe. We have Deputy National Commissioner of Police, Lieutenant General Tibello Musikidi. Deputy National Commissioner of Support Services, Lieutenant General Dineo Nkogwa. We have National Police Spokesperson, Me Atlinda Mate, Akiso Monu famous, Ramotseba Kaufel, Hapamiselzo, or Ukenzekati. Okay. We have representative from the University of Wits, Professor Ntsebane Ntlapa and Me Nokhanyo Yolwa. Kamututu O, I would like to call upon a representative from the Rhodes University to come and just reflect on the journey that was lived by Olorato. Teboho sa fihlile hle. Teboho o tlo re thusa. To make this easy, he will lead us and he will need all of us to join him, please. Re kana ra qala hona jwanong, o na ile o nwa metsi fela.
Alpha.
Good morning, everybody. Sanbanang, Dumalang. Nazinabahi, you all look so stunning this morning. And it's like you all knew exactly who you came to honor. Because Olorato, it seemed, had an outfit for every occasion. Everywhere she went, whether it was from one lecture to another. I remember she even went between lectures to go change shoes. Because the shoes did not match the outfit that she was wearing that day. Mind you, the lecture itself was only 45 minutes. She was going to go back home, but it had to make sense. It had to come together. Olorato was beautiful in so many ways, in every way possible that you can imagine. In the way that you could meet her by the cave near the library, and she would immediately know who you are. In the way that not only her voice would announce her in every lecture hall, but so would her spirit. You would just know Olorato was in the room. She thrived in every situation that you threw her in. She even made friends along the way. You could throw her in the middle of nowhere, and she would come out with a squad of people. And that's how she made most of her friends at Rhodes. And that's the legacy that she'll keep with her. I'm telling you, I think even Olorato made friends with the donkeys there in Makanda. She had the whole university wrapped around her finger. If you didn't know her, you wanted to know her. If you weren't friends with her, you wanted to be friends with her. She was more than that. She was also a leader. She led her communities. It's so painful that this is how she left when, back in the day, during the RU referenceless protests against gender-based violence, it was her voice leading us in song. It was her voice leading us towards some sort of justice against the horrific experiences that women and girls experience, especially in schools. But she had the most incredible voice, as I'm sure you'll hear throughout the day. And every time I sing, I'm always thinking to myself, Yazi, Olorato could harmonize with this. She could just jump in and, turn this into a song. She could turn anything into music, even her study notes. She was a voice that found a home on Rhodes Music Radio. So every time you turned on the radio, you could not escape her. Her voice wasn't the only loud thing about her. Her heart was loud. And when you were her friend, she loved you out loud. She made you feel special. She made you feel like you mattered. Olorato Mongale, what an honor it was to know you. What an honor it was to cross paths with you at this university that we happen to find ourselves in. This university that was so small, but you made feel so large. With your presence, with your voice, with your energy, with your love, with your light. I want to thank you, Bloemfontein. I want to thank you, Olorato's mothers. I want to thank you, Mama Poppy, for bringing her into our lives. She wore Bloemfontein on her chest. She was so proud. And she loved in the way that I know and I experienced meeting her mothers over the last 2 days. Thank you so much for the life that you gave us, Olorato. And thank you for teaching us to love as much as we can before our time has come. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Miss Kanye Mlava. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fond memories she has of Olorato. Somebody will find the song somewhere. I'd like to also acknowledge Deputy Mayor of Mangaung Metro Municipality, Lulamati Di Odile, MEC Jabu Balula, who is MEC of Police, Roads and Transport, MEC Matabo Leto for Social Development, and Deputy Speaker for Free State Legislature, Menolita Dungane. And those are the acknowledgements for now. I'd like to call all the speakers to please come on stage. I did indicate the time limitations we have, and sometimes it's very difficult to control emotions, and this is going to save us time the closer we are. You know that you are on the program unless you want me to call you by name. Ntate Jerome September, and former colleague and faithful friend Koketso Mokgotsi wa Kasibili, Karabo Mokwena, and forever friend Tato Molongwana.
Highly respected, smart and charming teenager. I remember meeting her for the first time because her mom made such a big impression on me, and Olorato was just so proud of her mom's imposing presence, personal strength and clear sense of what she expected of her daughter and her daughter's school. That special bond with mom grounded her. It gave her the confidence to take her place, to have an opinion, and to share it articulately and forcefully. Olorato had a natural connection with people. Her permanent smile was warm and welcoming. So many of Olorato's classmates, we had 175 matrics, who were not close friends, knew her simply because Olorato smiled naturally, with that instant human connection. Even the photos that have been shared nationally hit home with people because her loveliness is clear and palpable. And the terrible events of last Sunday just show how caring, committed, and intentional were her friends. The speed with which they acted speaks volumes about their friendship, and they are an example to us all. Olorato was an elected leader at school. She had a voice, a strong one. She stood her ground. She put so much effort into her 30 years, preparing to make her mark. How extremely sad. The photos that Olorato shared this week, especially the one in white, sipping a coffee, so comfortable in her own space, with such radiance, grace and beauty, will remain in my mind's screensaver forever. Her death was senseless, but I hope that as a country it brings us to our senses. all Unisi girls join me in mourning Olorato and in wishing you, her family and close friends, lots of love, peace, closure, and better times ahead.
So well put. How many of us here, your principal, whenever you were doing your matric, remembers you that distinctly? Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a message from her, from our headmaster when she was at Eunice Secondary School. And that was Mr. Paul Kasha. And right now we'll hear from the University of Witwatersrand. Most of us know it as just West, Mr. Jerome September.
Dumelang. Greetings to the Mongale family, friends, members of the community, and all who have gathered here today to mourn and honor the life of Olorato. A young life taken far too soon under circumstances that has left us broken, angry, and searching for answers. I am Jerome September, the Dean of Student Affairs at Wits University, and I speak to you on behalf of the university, and in particular, to extend the condolences of our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Vilakasi, the University Executive, and the whole university community, both students and staff. I am joined by Associate Professor Nsibani Ntlatlapa, Nokukanya Yolwa, and Basil Mukwena, who have traveled from Johannesburg to be with you today. Olorato was with us for a very short time, but we claim her because from our staff arts in ICT policy and regulation, commencing this year in February, and was taking the research methods course, for which she had prepared an initial diagnostic report. The focus of her proposed research was ICT sustainability for economic growth, with specific interest in infrastructure access, digital literacy, and digital adoption. Her early writings show strong technical research skill and intellectual depth. In the short period, she took the initiative to organize her fellow students and created a WhatsApp communication group. She contributed to interactive class engagement showing her dynamic personality and enthusiasm. She was in class on Thursday, the 22nd of May, and there was a technical glitch in the class, and she just jumped up and sorted things out so that the class could proceed. And so her absence was noticed and missed on Monday, the 26th of May. As a university, we are deeply saddened. We are deeply troubled because Olorato's death reminds us that the challenges our students face go beyond our lecture halls. It reminds us of the urgent need to address the violence that continues to rob our nation of its youth, but in particular of excellent young women like Olorato. To the Mongale family, please accept our heartfelt condolences. Your daughter's life mattered. Her voice mattered. Her dreams mattered. And her memory will not be forgotten. May Olorato's soul rest in peace. And may we carry her memory forward with the courage to build the world that she deserved to live in. Rubala Hantle, Olorato.
Thank you very much, Ray September. Teboho, I'm looking to you right now before we call the next speaker. So I ask Olorato that I don't know anybody that completes a whole honors, abale, and then I look happy studying. What's up about that? And she says to me, I had chosen a career that I was passionate about, journalism. And amongst the few stories that I've had to cover was having to pressure a mourning family for a story because my boss wants to file. That did not resonate with me. That's not what I wanted to be about. And then she chose to go back and do policy so that she educates. I would like now to call upon, before I do that, let me just continue to acknowledge, as I did indicate that we'll acknowledge as we notice them, because people don't get invited to a funeral. They show up, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Amongst us, we have Queen Khaboilelwi Moroka. We have Mangaung Speaker Lawrence Matai. We have MMC Litawana from Mangaung. We have MMC Sotedi from Mangaung, and we have Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Honorable Seiso Mohai. And right now, I'd like to call upon people who journeyed with her. Some of them saw her on her last days. May you pray with them as they share, because I know this is very difficult for them. A picture like what we saw when we said goodbye to Olorato. I don't wish that picture on anybody, including my worst enemies. Worst when you see the mother witnessing that. And these children have been there from the beginning. I'm sure you've seen in our media clips that we say these kids decided that it's our journey. Whenever we travel anywhere, we send each other location. Some people are saying she felt something, that's why she was sharing location. That's not necessarily true. It was the way they related to one another. That's how they lived, being responsible citizens, and unfortunately, silapha ngoku. So I'd like to call upon these young, amazing women. And before I do that, let's call her former colleague and hear Olorato's journey as a colleague. Mvelo Novo.
Show
My name is Umvelo, and I am not here alone. I am flanked by my colleague Irene to the right and Utembelihle to my left. I don't think words will ever be enough to capture what Olorato Mongale meant to us, but what I can offer is a recollection of memories from each of our perspectives, starting off with the perspective Yatembelihle. As the Oliver Wyman family, and even more as Olorato's friends, we find ourselves truly at a loss. This loss has cut deeply. It's hard to accept that someone so full of life, light, and laughter is no longer with us. Olorato was a bright light in the lives of everyone she encountered. Her presence, her energy, her magic, it was unforgettable. We are left grappling with a silence filled with heartbreak and a sadness that feels irreconcilable. I remember when all of us joined the firm, I was so excited to see another black woman in our growing office. I was instantly in awe of her, the grace she carried herself with, her warmth, and the radiant presence, absolutely out of this world. In 2022, we had a company holiday where Olo and I roomed together for the first time. I had no idea that just how much she would come to mean to me. Even our regional head, the head of Oliver Wyman, Imea, was in awe of Olo. Instantly became her bestie. She had this remarkable ability to bring out the best in people. It was the Olo magic. She lit up every room, made everyone feel seen, and connected with people in a way that was truly rare. Fast forward to 2023, we were in Istanbul. Olo, Irene, and Mvelo, laughing, dancing, and somehow being carried home by this incredible woman after an unforgettable night out. A trio had been formed that will be cherished forever. the trio would turn into a friendship that became family and beyond professional bounds, with us creating so many memories even after Olu left Oliver Wyman. This loss isn't just felt in South Africa, but across our entire region. From India to the Middle East, she was a spark, a force, a friend, a woman who lived boldly and brought color, laughter, and love wherever she went. We'll forever remember Olorato for the joy she brought into our lives, both inside and outside of the office. Her legacy is one of brilliance, light, and deep, beautiful connection. We miss you, Olo, and we'll carry your light with us always. I will now proceed to read recollections from my perspective. She had a way of lighting up every room she walked into. It wasn't just her smile or her laugh. It was something deeper, something magic. She was magic. Someone on Twitter said, if I were to bet on a fight of Olo versus the entire world, I would bet on her every time. And I think we all would have. The very first time I met Olorato, she walked into the office and I encountered this energy, like full volume, sparkling, a fearless energy. She looked me straight in the eyes and said something witty along the lines of, "You better not be boring. You don't have time for that here." And from that moment, I knew she wasn't going to let me just blend in. There were 3 of us who joined at the time as newbies, and we locked ourselves in a tiny room in the office, onboarding and trying to get to know the company more. We didn't know anyone, and we didn't know anything. But Olo, she cracked that shell open with jokes and just pure personality. She helped us find our feet, and even when we didn't feel ready, she made us feel like we belong. Everyone in the office felt her impact, whether you worked with her directly or just happened to cross her path. She then left Oliver Wyman in August 2024, and while we missed her terribly at the office, it brought us even closer. We spoke almost every single day about her travels, job hunting, potential business ventures. Me Johnny Walker because I walk everywhere. But that made for a great talk because I knew all the special spots on campus. At the time, we also had time to catch up on life and an upcoming birthday that I was having in April. I told her I don't like big celebrations or surprises. So the evening before my birthday, she came over, she baked, and when the clock struck 12, she sang for me. Then she left gracefully. Many of us have stories like this. The size of this room here today proves it. We all knew a different version of Olo, but every version made you feel seen, heard, and loved. And finally, to you, Olorato.
Thank you for every cupcake, every call, every fight you fought, and every light you lit. We carry you with us always.
Isiyobona nangelizayo. uNkulunkulu akuphe ukuphumula, umphumulelo wafuthi, nokukhanya waphakade ukukhanyela, uphumule okuhle. Amen.
Ra ilakatsa kaofela ho ba haufinyana le morena. Thank you very much, Minato. Hey, no. We are here to seal wounds. Real, because you know the Batbanama, but we don't cry as non-believers because Ratseba or Owaronangwana. Olorato even took a mom to church. It's a story for another day. Around Chakets in Nakasonta, Reakerike. So how bona bo mema murutiba? Utsibisitwe bona ke Olorato. Ke kereke ya hae ko Princeton. Haya Gauteng a re ketse ho Sasanka. She was connected to the Lord. She had registered to be part of the choir. And later on, I hope you'll get to see or listen to a beautiful voice if you haven't seen it on some of the social media posts. And I would also like to acknowledge amongst us, we have Queen Mother, Gaungalelwi Moroka. We have amongst us Mrs. Khadija Browns, who's economic advisor of the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. We also have a message from the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. I'd like now to call upon these young, incredible, you know, as I experienced these children, I just wanted a box that I can put them inside and lock them up because they are so full of love in a world that is so full of hate. And I hope their light lightens our spirits, and for us to realize that with this kind of leadership, the future is in great hands. I'd like to call upon Koketso, Karabo, Tato, also joined by Khomotso.
Hallelujah.
o morena, o morena, o morena, o morena, wa marena. When I just saw Ukhasi, yeah, Ukhasi, Manifati, Jesus. Jesus.
Good morning. My name is Karabo Mukwena, and I would just like to read a letter to my dearest Olo. The beginning of our friendship to where we are now always amuses me. We always butted heads because similarly you were so bright. You filled the mornings first thing while I needed a good 30 minutes of silence or a cup of coffee to get through. But that's adolescence, right? And look at us now, almost 20 years later, supporting each other, balancing each other through that stage, a quarter-life crisis, and almost our thriving 30s. We were right there, moving on to whatever the next phase would be, but you were suddenly taken from us. I'm finding it very hard to process. I remember the night of your passing, lying paralyzed in bed. I decided to consult and Dada of God because it simply didn't make sense. I asked him so many questions, and the main one being how to stay close to him in this situation. I have lost in my life, but this was a new kind of loss, and I didn't know how to handle it. I'd like to think that he answered immediately after, reminding me of our time last week. It was an impromptu gathering among old friends. It left me feeling so warm and fuzzy. That's the only way I can describe it. I then asked him and begged him to erase the image that I saw of you on the day of your passing, while we were looking for you. And all I saw afterwards was images of you shining bright. He reminded me of the shining star you are, my angel. Excuse. I remembered our conversation on Friday and how he had always been our pillar of strength, especially regarding our mental health. You were always that person for everyone. I remembered the feeling I had when I saw the status you had the next day, wondering why, Olorato, why would you post something like this? I continue to remember how you mentioned to us on Friday that you had a recurring dream that bothered you, a dream in which you were writing your final maths exam paper. We didn't think you would face a final trial so brutal and so soon after our gathering. The realization shook me. It felt like you were saying goodbye, and we didn't even realize it. I'm reminded of the hymn, Dula le rona morena. One of its verses reads, Dula le rona morena, o pholose ka mehla. Tsela tsa hao ha re di tsebe, ho di tlwaela re a sitwa. I hope you are created in the hearts, in the arms of Ndate God, and are still shining brightly, singing your favorite songs, dancing in heaven, my friend. I know you are the life of the party, and we wouldn't have it any other day, any other way. I hope that one day I will understand why I have to lay you to rest today, and I hope that you rest peacefully. I will always love you, Mokgotsi. Mama Poppy. Mama, my heart bleeds for you. No mother should ever have to bury their child, and I know how close you and Ulo are. I don't want to tell you that hotlaluka or that better days will come, because right now the pain you are feeling is probably all-consuming, because I am consumed by it. Mama, experience the pain and allow the grief. Matsohong a Ntate Modimo. Ha o lla bosiu, utlwa ekare ho thata le ho rapela, o bue le yena o re ntate ke imetswe. Pelo ya ka e bohloko, ke hlola le ho atumela ho wena. You can get through this with Ntate God by your side. They say that before we come to earth, we talk to Ntate Modimo about how long we will be here for. And Ulu definitely lived her life fully. And that is something we can all attest to. And Mama, as Mewahai, you have raised a phenomenal woman. I want to thank you for that because I got to have her in my life for as long as it has been, although not as long as I had hoped it would be. Meeting Ulu has allowed me to gain a mother through you. And I want you to know that we are here for you, Mama. If there is anything you need, never feel like Hareyo. I love you, Ma. Thank you.
My name is Koketso Sujosingwe. I always knew of Olorato because our parents were very close and our two families are just a very deep part of each other's lives. But we were always in school in different provinces and never having the chance to really come together until 2022. In 2022, we decided that we wanted to go for lunch together, and we went to Clear. And Olorato ordered sushi, oysters, and white wine. That's what we had. And that day I thought to myself, yo, this girl loves herself. She loves herself and haitopi mo bophelong. We later continued to grow our friendship, but the biggest part of our friendship has been since July last year. Olo came back for a few months before she went on her trip to backpack Southeast Asia. Our friendship grew a lot in that time, and she would have given me a side eye when I say friendship, because she always said we weren't friends, we were cousins. So in the last 9 months, we've spent a lot of time together. Mama Poppy knows I would call her and say, please come and kidnap me. And when I would say that, Mama Poppy would laugh and say, and the kidnapping was because whenever I needed space or I just needed a breather, she was there. She held space for me and had room for me. And that was Olorato, always showing up for people, no matter how inconvenient it is or how non-practical it may be, she made sure. Olo and I spent a lot of time speaking on the phone. We spent a lot of time with Mama Poppy together, watching shows, and just the past 6 months or so, Olo had gone through a lot, and through every trial that she was going through, she always said, God is testing me, and he wants me to submit to him and trust him wholeheartedly in every single battle that I'm fighting. And I'd like to believe that in the last hour of Olo's life, she knew who to rely on and who to look to. Olo and I called each other faithful bees. I won't say what the bee means. We called each other faithful bees because it was a cocktail that we used to enjoy before she decided to stop drinking. So we would always say, a faithful bee for a faithful bee, and that meant we're going somewhere. It's very sad that I'll never get that call that comes up on the screen and says, faithful bee, and hear that raspy voice. The last 2 weeks were very beautiful. Olo came down for my birthday to Bloem, and we had an exceptional time. She was very calm in that time, which was a little bit different. She was extremely calm, and the things we spoke about, and the things we spoke about and the time we shared, it was always just beautiful and warm. It was just always a warm feeling. I'd like to say, Tato, Karabo, Kensani, Tebho, Kiorata, It's not a mistake that she spent her last few days with us. She knew who she needed to mobilize. She knew who she needed on the ground. And we understood the mandate. It has been very hard to get through this week. But as much as I'm sad about Olo's death and I'm heartbroken, I also know that there's no stone that we left unturned in our friendship. She knew how much I loved her. I knew how much she loved me, and we expressed it wholeheartedly. Olo saw me in the week before she passed. She had, her mom and her had planned a surprise birthday for me, and on that day, I sent her a message that night, and I said to her, I think we've taken this Faithful Bee title very lightly. To be the true meaning of faithful is to be loyal and steadfast. And that is what has carried me through this week, that I needed to be loyal and steadfast. And the whole journey that we traveled this week, Mama Bobby, when we were driving to Johannesburg, you said that you didn't know what happens after this. What's the point of continuing? And that broke my heart, but I'm so happy that on our way back to Bloemfontein, you remembered her words. You remembered what she wanted for you. Mama Pops, you were the biggest thing for Olo. She loved you so much, and all she wanted for you was to be happy at all times. Please continue to remember her wishes for you to continue, Mama, and we're with you. I leave you with the verse. Sorry, before I say that, actually, Olorato, during the weekend of my birthday, we did a sip and paint. And I printed out pictures for our friends to paint that meant something to me. So what Olo chose was the rose. And she painted this painting of the rose. It's not up. She painted this painting of the rose, and she said, it's missing something. And that was Olo. Something was missing. She would catch it and find a way to make sure. She added a note in Latin. And at the time when I saw it, I didn't really get to look it up or anything. It's only now that we've been back in Bloem that I checked it, and it is actually a feminist phrase that says, "Nolite de bastardes." That means don't let the bastards get you down. I think that was something just to show that Olo knew that her name would have a lot of relevance in the space. And I draw strength from knowing that she knew that and heard that her name meant something. Mama Pops, I leave you with Peter 5, verse 10. Which says, and after you have suffered a little while, the God of grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will see himself restore, secure, and strengthen, and establish you. Thank you.
I have known Olorato for a very long time, probably since 2011. But then we were not as close as we became in 2022 when she moved to Johannesburg, or rather later that year. And I still remember the first time we met up that side. We went out for lunch, which was a beautiful day, and then it turned into a karaoke night because we then went a bit of club hopping at that time. We ended up at this karaoke place and we were singing and dancing and having the time of our lives. And that memory will forever live in my mind. And I was with her last week Saturday actually, at church, and she randomly said, hey, I joined the church choir. And I was like, wait, what? Because the last time I checked, it was at karaoke, she wasn't that great. Like, we were having a time, yes, but it didn't sound that great. So, but then I was like, okay, that's interesting. Because just before that, she gave me a call this one time and she's like, I was like, what's up? Like every day is Xhosa. This is BMC. We are both at BMC. Kere, no, I get you. Like, sometimes I want to connect. So when she told me that she joined the choir, in my mind, the back of my mind, I was like, maybe she was trying to come, she was going to bring Sotho and Tswana songs that will then uplift the church and uplift people like me, right? That was a really good time. I had the best time with her. Every single time I was with her, it was a fantastic time, and I appreciate that she was raised by such beautiful women that have really sort of made her who she was. And I appreciate every single person who was a mosaic, who made that mosaic that is Olorato, because every single person that she came across also played a part in her life, and it wasn't just always that the other way around. I appreciate every single person that did play that part in her life, and I appreciate the fact that I spent that Saturday with her from 9 a.m. at church, and I invited her over to my house to have braai. Little did I know that it would be a good braai.